record. I'm going to mute you guys. And you can unmute yourself if you want to. I'm just going to mute the background noise, but you guys can definitely unmute yourself. This is very casual. All right, so this week, I've had this on my agenda to talk to you guys for a while. And actually, you tell me, last week we talked a lot about branding and using social media. And I had asked Becca to come on and talk to this topic about challengers and running effective challenge groups and investing in your challengers and converting them to coaches. But before I move on to that, did you guys get anything out of the branding week last week or the social media stuff? I know that personally for me, I struggled with that for a really long time, figuring out who I was talking to, because I tried to be very generic in the beginning, and it was just, workout selfies and pictures of food. But when I started to really share my story and kind of target people based on, what my story was, and that made a big difference. And even now, my story has evolved. Obviously, I'm not that brand new challenger anymore. I'm not that mom who is tired because her kids still get up every night. So, my story has changed and it's evolved. And so, I have to change with it and talking about what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I really encourage you guys, if you haven't done this already and I'm totally shifting gears from what I said I was going to talk about, but if you haven't sat down and kind of made out a list of what who your avatar is. I shared that at our retreat, I think, didn't I? Did I share that at our retreat? Or maybe it was on a different call, about what are the person that you're talking to, what do they struggle with? What are their hobbies? How old are their kids? Do their kids go to school? Or are they at home with them? Do they work full time? What do they like to do for fun? What do they do on the weekends? What is their struggle as far as food and feeding their family? That. But those are the kind of things that I just made a list of. And so every time I would post, I would talk to that person. So, in my morning workout selfie early on, my kids were still smaller. I mean, they weren't babies, but they were still smaller. Milo got up at 4 o'clock every morning when I first started doing this. And so I would talk about the fact that, my kids were up, so I might as well be up. And, or if they slept in, I would talk about the fact that it gave me a little extra time to do my workout. I would go to bed early. I would lay out my clothes the night before because I knew that I would be tired the next morning from, there was a phase where Milo, he did get up every night in the middle of the night and got in my bed. And you mamas know that when your sleep gets interrupted that, you are tired. And so that's a mom, that's the person that I would talk to. And so we're all at different points in our lives. So, for Becca, what I would post about wouldn't be what you would post about. You travel all the time. You're gone all the time. And, you and Jones, work out together. You do your meals together. Your life is very different than mine. So you're going to have a different story, a different target than I would have. And, I stayed away for so long getting very specific in who I posted to, what I was talking about, because I was afraid that if I narrowed down my focus that I would exclude people and that I wouldn't be able to hit Success Club. But what I found was that the more specific that I got with my story, the more that I targeted certain types of people, then the more people came to me because they related, they connected with my story. And I just used social media to tell my story, right? And so that is what that whole social media, the branding, creating your avatar kind of thing, that's something at this point in your business, you need to do. If you find yourself, if you go back and you evaluate your social media and you're posting the same exact selfie every day, you need to check it. If you go back and you are posting the same exact kind of motivation, and it's very generic, or you're not sharing tips about your lifestyle, if you're not being specific about how you make this work for you, then you need to be more specific, and you need to branch outside your comfort zone and just get out there and share what's going to help people that will connect with you, right? Again, Lindsay homeschools, her life looks extremely different than mine does. Lauren, you go into an office every single day of the year now, don't you? Do you? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, your meal planning is probably going to look different than Lindsay's is. Like this week, now that I'm home, like I've made that post yesterday. It was Mother's Day. I wasn't going to stress about meal prep, meal planning. I was like, I'm kind of just going with the flow and accepting the flexibility that I have now that I'm at home all week long. And so like my story changed, right? My target changed. And now I'm going to kind of talk to people about what I do to make this work for me. And still I'll talk to those people who do work full time. But like teachers, like I need to be talking to teachers. You're about to get out of school. How do you make this work for you? How do you meal plan when your kids are home and you're like always like kids are always in your ear, at your feet, or what do you do? And so like my story's going to change a little bit, and who I talk to is going to change. Does that make sense? Do you guys have any questions about that? You good? Okay. Lindsay's just cooking away over there. I love it. All right, so Becca, do you have anything to add to that? Because you're really good. Like your whole travel across the world thing was like incredible.
I could be better at all of that myself, honestly. So I think those are all really good tips. I like hearing that.
Okay. I think we all can, honestly. I think that we get in like 3 to 5 posts a day. Let me get my 3 to 5 posts in every single day. And we think if we get a workout selfie, if we get a food picture in there, if we get a challenge group ad in there a few times a week, that like we're doing good. And you are, but you've really got to focus on taking your life, taking what you struggle with and what you have been able to overcome and the ways that you have been able to do that, and putting that into words and putting it into a story that allows people to connect with you. And sometimes that's hard. Like when I first shared about my PMS struggles, like that was really hard for me to put that down into a blog post and share it. The first time that, let's see what else I shared about. I've shared about lots of things at this point. I shared about when I was in college, I had an eating disorder, and I don't anymore, but that's part of my story, and people connected with that. Like people definitely connected with that. Sharing a transformation is sometimes really hard, but people like to see that, you're not perfect. You weren't perfect when you started, and that this has been a journey and a struggle for you. And so the more specific that you can get in sharing your story, the more that people are going to connect with you, right? And so that's definitely very important. That's kind of the gist of what we were talking about last week in this group. Also, excuse me, I talked a lot last week about, you being the CEO of your business, because honestly, you guys are at the point, and I think that the point that you guys are at this in your business is the hardest, but it's also the most exciting. All right. You have gotten past the first 4 or 5, maybe 6 months of your business. And this is really where like the rubber hits the road. Like you have to decide, am I going to stick with this? Am I going to do it? Am I going to push myself? Am I going to get over these hills, these obstacles? Whatever it might be, or am I just going to quit, or am I just going to coast? Because like you could, like you've got the basics down, you've got the 4 vitals down probably. You could probably be better at them. I can always be better at the 4 vitals, but this is the point where you have to like decide, where am I going to go with this business? Am I going to keep going? Am I going to keep doing it part-time? Am I going to go full-time in it? Like you get to decide. And it's really like, I think now, when I was in that spot, it was really overwhelming and intimidating, and I wanted to quit like every week. But once I decided to just go for it, and I'm not saying like, I don't do this full time. I guess I could. I probably put in enough time to do it. But, like I decided I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to see. It was kind of like a blank canvas. Like, what can I do with this business? I didn't have a team yet. I was still kind of struggling to hit Success Club every month, but I knew that if I kept with it, if I pushed myself, if I stayed plugged in, if I took what Melanie was teaching me and put it into practice, like I was like, what can happen? And that was kind of exciting for me. And you guys, that's why I get so excited about this group. And I get so passionate about this group is because like, this is the point where you really decide to take off or not. And that doesn't mean that you like, commit 10 hours a day or that you're hitting Success Club 20 or anything like that, but it's just where you decide to take your business to the next level. And so everybody who's in this group has challengers. And so this week on this call, I wanted to talk to you guys about customer service, about running challenge groups, and about finding coaches from your challengers. So, you know, Jade actually did a really good call for us, team call for us one time about leading your challengers, engaging your challengers. And I'm going to pull some stuff from hers and mine, and then Becca's going to talk. But I also want to talk about kind of like just the administrative type stuff, you know, like every time. So this is very important, and I feel like this has been very instrumental in my success in keeping challengers and engaging challengers and converting challengers to coaches. Okay, so every time that a challenger signs up with me, they get an email from me, and it's pretty much the same email. It's you know, might change the dates and some things, but it says that, you know, welcome to your challenge group. This is if they bought a challenge pack or Shakeology. Welcome to your challenge group. You know, like, we have a new group starting on this day, but congratulations on investing in your health. And like, I can share it with you guys. You guys probably, you should have this email, but I send it to every single one. It shares a little bit about my story. I send them to my blog to read about my cholesterol transformation, because I want them from the get-go to understand the value of Shakeology and what it does, or what it has done for me. And so they get that email. And then also, I go ahead at the very beginning and I talk about the coach discount. I talk about the fact that if you love Shakeology, then you have the option after the 30 days to go ahead and get a 25% savings. So I'm already planting that seed. And I can't tell you how many people come back to me before the 30 days is up, and they're like, I love Shakeology. You said something somewhere about a discount, and tell me more about that. Okay. So that initial email, I think, is so incredibly key to engaging your challengers and keeping it, like, just planting seeds, essentially. And then another thing that I do is that I keep in my Google Streak. And, you know, I didn't used to do this in Google Streak. I used to just keep up with it in like a notepad. Like I would write their names in my calendar or something. But every week I move my challengers in my Google Streak from like week 1 to week 2 to week 3. And I have a series of emails that I will send them. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Let's see. So this is my Google Streak for my challengers, okay? And so I have people who are new in signups. So these people are all starting my challenge group right now this week. And then I have, you know, they move to week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And these are the ones that are finishing out my last challenge group. And so I have a series of emails that I will send to them. Let me see if I can find that. And I've just kind of made these up as I go, and it's not complete, but it is a series of weekly emails. So I want to, yes, I have my challengers in a challenge group. Yes, I am engaging with them there. Yes, I'm participating as a challenger, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But I also want to connect with them one-on-one, because that is my job as their coach. Like, I'm supposed to be there cheering them on. And so, like, they go through prep week. They get that initial email from me when they sign up with a challenge pack. And then after, like, midway through prep week, or like on that weekend before the first official week, I send them this message, and it says, hey, good morning. We kicked off our challenge group. I wanted to check in and make sure you're on track. You need to do this, this, and that. Do you know which program you're doing? Do you have your goals logged into the group? And, you know, etc. And then the next week, I will send them an email. It says, good morning, beautiful. It's Friday. And I tell them, you know, like, what are your goals for this weekend? Do you make sure you get your shake in? Make sure you work out. Make sure you have a meal plan ready for next week. I encourage them, and I send them a link to a blog post that I wrote. It doesn't have to be a blog post. You don't have to send a blog post. You don't have to have a blog post. But I send them an encouraging message. Obviously, I skipped week 3 here, but I send week 4 encouragement. You know, I tell them this is our final push to the end of this group. It's self-evaluation time. Have you shown up? Have you done the work? You know, if you got off track, it's totally okay. And then I ask them about their goals. What goals have you met? What goals do you still want to meet? And I encourage them to keep going, to finish strong. And I tell them that I'm praying for them. Okay, so that's nothing major. It's just like a couple paragraphs, but I'm connecting with them one-on-one through my challenge group. You guys know how to go to, like, your challengers and click send a message, so you can send an individual message. I do that every single week. Do you guys know how to do that? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. And so that's easier than me like going through and individually like sending a text or a Facebook message or something. Now I do use Facebook Messenger to send like voice messages because especially if I see somebody's just really gone silent or they're struggling with something in particular, I will use Facebook Messenger to send them a voice message. And that just means a lot to people, you know, that you would take the time to actually sit there and for them to hear your voice and to send them a message. And so just staying in not constant, but like weekly communication with your challengers is really important. I have other coaches who ask me, like on our bigger team, who ask me, you know, like, do you have engaging challenge groups? Do you have challengers who stick with it with Shakeology or turn into coaches or whatever? And I'm like, yes. And they tell me that these are a couple of things that I feel like we do as a team that other coaches don't do. And that is like, obviously, like some coaches just set up their challenge group and let it run. Like they schedule out their posts for the whole month. They'll go in and when their challengers post, they'll like comment and say, good job, have a great day, you did a great job, whatever. But they don't post as challengers and they don't have like weekly communication with their challengers. And guys, like challengers are that's what we do. Like that is what we do. Like our goal as coaches is to help people get healthy. And so like when people sign up with me, like I want them to know that yes, they're getting Shakeology, yes, they're getting a workout program, yes, they're getting a support group, but they're getting me as their coach. And if I fall through on that, if I don't deliver, if I don't encourage and I don't uplift and I don't connect with them one-on-one, then one, they're not going to stick with it. Two, they're not going to keep drinking their Shakeology. Three, they're not going to have any results probably because they're going to just look at it as a fad, as something they tried and didn't work. And four, they're definitely not going to sign up as coaches. So I want them to have a great experience. I want them to know I'm there for them. And like, I don't mess around with people. Like if people keep telling me, yes, I want this, I want this, I want this, but they're like out there eating chicken biscuits and macaroni and cheese, I'm like, girl, that is not going to get you where you want to be. So I'm also very real with my challengers and I don't really take excuses a lot because I don't feel like that's my job. I feel like my job is to push them and encourage, but, you know, be very truthful. So one of the main things that we should do in our challenge groups is definitely lead by example. All right. That's one of my main points. I want everybody on our team who is a coach to make sure that you are leading by example in your challenge groups. So for months as a new coach, I did not check in as a challenger. I did not participate as a challenger. But guys, like you are always a challenger. I am almost 3 years into this. I am always a challenger. Like I have to make my health and fitness a priority. And I have to show my group, my team that I am doing it with them. Okay. Because I can tell you that those people who went through my challenge groups when I was not participating as a challenger didn't get as much out of it as they do now. And so like every morning, especially with this challenge tracker app, I post my workout selfie. I post my Shakeology. I'll post pictures of my food that I'm eating. Like this morning, I posted my morning snack. It was like blueberries, blackberries, eggs, and walnuts. You know, I posted a picture in there, told them about how I was, you know, there's kind of this junk food in my kitchen from our brunch yesterday and that I was trying not to eat it. And so that is what I opted for. So like I'm participating. They're seeing me doing the things that I'm asking them to do. And not only that, they also see me do it on social media. So you know, like if you're a coach and you have challenge groups, but you're not posting what you're doing on social media, then, you know, like to them, you know, you're not really doing what you ask them to do, right? And so always being a challenger is number one. Accountability. Do you know your challengers' goals? Do you know what they are working towards? If your challengers don't put their goals in the app or if they don't comment on that day one post when you ask for their goals, are you checking in with them? Are you saying, hey girl, I need your goals. I need to know what you're working towards because if you don't have goals, then you're not going to stick with this. And so let's get those set. Let's pray over them. Let's make them happen, but you have to have goals, okay? And so I tell them they have to set clear, measurable, attainable goals. And if you need to, you remind them weekly. you go back through, like if somebody fills out your WooFoo form too, like I always know that gives me an idea, something back to go back to and reference. But your challengers, especially with this challenge tracker app, there's no reason that you shouldn't have a record of what their goals are for the group and be able to go back and reference them. So I talked about connections. I talked about staying in contact with them. But, you know, like Jade made this awesome point when she did this call. She said that, like, you know, when you're sharing in your challenge group, you know, even like don't just share your workout and your Shakeology. But I really like this, but she said share funny stories, or, you know, like if you go to Pinterest and you try this like awesome new recipe and it fails, it bombs, like, you know, share that. Like people want to see that you're just human, like you don't do this naturally and so easily, and that, you know, like you have, you know, like I think one of the things that she said that stuck out to me was she was like, if you're grocery shopping and you knock over like the display of macaroni and cheese, like take a picture of it and post it in your challenge group. Like your challengers appreciate the humor, and you know, because this can be serious. Like health and fitness can be overwhelming and it can be serious. But if you share funny things as well as inspirational things, like it's just going to be that much more fun. Recognizing your challengers is really important. So you guys, you know, now we have, it used to be the 3 vital behaviors. Now it's the 4 vital behaviors. And that 4th behavior that they added was recognition. And so like, shout your challengers out in your groups. Like have a fun little contest. Like Saturday in my challenge group, I posted a contest, and it was basically like, you know, I told them, I was like, look, I need help. Like all my extras and my portions have gotten a little off this week, and I really need the accountability to stay on track with them today. And I told them I'm going to be logging everything into my 21-day fix app, and I'm going to post it tonight for accountability. And if you're up for this contest, for this challenge, you know, post below and let me know if you're in, and I'll draw a winner for a little prize, you know. And so it challenged people who maybe had not been tracking their food, who had not been checking in, that type of thing, to get re-engaged. And so I just draw a winner. I post it in the challenge group, and boom, that's it. Another thing is, like, you know, I am constantly in the group, in my challenge group, asking my challengers for, you know, feedback. Like, what changes are you seeing? And it's not always weight related. It's not always inches related, but like, do you feel stronger? Do you sleep better? Is your family taking notice of what you're doing? Are they changing the way that they eat? Are they joining you in your workouts? You know, share with me. Like, I do this especially at the midway point. I'm like, guys, we are halfway through. I know that you are seeing changes. You're working so hard. Share below. And so, like, as they share those things, like, I will pick a couple people and I'll say, hey, your story, your participation, your results are so inspiring. Do you care if I share this publicly? Some people say no. Most people say no, I don't care. And then I just ask them, well, can I tag you in it? Do you want me to keep it private? Whatever. But I'm constantly recognizing and shouting out challengers or parts of their story that they share in the challenge group, and that inspires them. That makes them feel good about what they're doing. And, you know, like, also, like, if you tag somebody else, like I have one person who is always like sharing my post. She's a challenger. She's sharing my post. She's like, you should join this. I love this. It's changed my life. Like, when you share, when you recognize your challengers and you tag them, then their friends are going to see that post. They're going to learn about what they're doing. They're going to have questions and possibly want to join. So recognition is a huge part in your challenge groups and outside your challenge groups, especially. All right. Asking for feedback. I don't do this a lot, and honestly, I forget, and it is a little bit scary, but I really truly just forget, because like I have so many challengers that just continue over. I think I just assume that they're happy with the challenge groups, but asking for feedback is something that I really need to start doing. You know, what did you like? What did you not like about the challenge group? If I could change something, or if I could add something to it, what would you like to see done differently next time? I'm going to do that this time. I'm going to write that in my calendar because I need to do that. Hold on. Excuse me. All right. And so those are, and then at the end, obviously, you guys all should know by now that I send my challengers a email, and it basically just says, hey girl, this challenge group is ending, based on what they did or didn't do. I say, you've done a great job and you just showed up, and I know you're seeing results. I'm really, really proud of you. Now moving forward, you have a couple of options. You can continue on your own and, keep drinking your shake, doing your workouts, and just, hold yourself accountable. You can join my next challenge group and actually invite a few people if you want to and continue on that way. Or you could sign up as a coach and invite people and actually get paid or get your Shakeology paid for. No matter what you choose, I'm here, I'm your coach, but let me know what path you want to take in the future. All right. And so that is always a good way to find out if people have interest in becoming a coach. And so you'd be surprised at the number of people who are like, yeah, tell me more about it. And so I take those people, I put them in a coach sneak peek, or I will send them my coach opportunity call and let them look at it. And then I'll follow up with them. And then I go from there about the coaching opportunity. But those are some very key things that I do. And it's, honestly, the majority of time that I spend in my business should be on my challengers. It should be spent on finding challengers, finding coaches, investing in my challengers and my challenge groups, and converting those people to coaches. Now, it does get a little tricky as our team has grown and I run these training groups, but the majority of my time, I always say 80% of my time should be spent on my challengers. And if I'm not checking in there every day, if I'm not checking in as a challenger, if I'm not commenting and liking their posts within the challenge groups, then they're going to fall off. And that accountability is what keeps them on track. And I always tell my coaches too, every time a challenger posts, I always like and comment. It doesn't matter if I just say, atta girl, or good day, or something like that. I always comment and post, because if I don't, then they're going to stop posting. And if they stop posting, they're probably going to stop doing their workouts. They're probably going to stop drinking their Shakeology. And then they're just going to totally not hit any goal that they had for themselves. And my job is to help them get those health and fitness results. And I do that by engaging them, by connecting with them, by encouraging them, and definitely messaging them one-on-one. And it's very effective. It works for me. And so when people have good results in challenge groups, then they either want to continue and get that coach discount, or they want to start coaching themselves and start leading their own challenge groups. So that's really important as you start to grow your business, as you start to decide, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to start looking for people to join my team? Am I just going to run challenge groups and just make sure they have rocking results? Or am I going to, look for coaches at this point? And I want to say, let me clearly say that if you choose just to run challenge groups right now, that is totally fine. If you choose to set a goal to recruit 1 or 2 coaches a month, whether it's discount or working coaches, that's totally fine. If you choose to really go out there, find working coaches, grow your business that way, that's awesome. But no matter what you choose, our challengers should be the heart and soul of our business. And I know that you guys are all really looking at you people who are on this call, you're very invested in your challenge group. So are those tips things that are helpful? Do you have anything that you would like to add to that? Because I'm sure that you guys do some things differently than I do. And I asked Becca actually to talk about some of the things that she does. But Lindsay or Lauren, do you guys have anything or questions about any of that? Do you have that new welcome challenger email and that follow-up message that I send to challengers after the group is over?
I've been sending actually been sending text, which I feel like is pretty effective.
Good. Just to check in, you mean?
Yeah, and after the initial sign up, and I do send an email as well on the initial, but then after that, I've been just sending text, just to follow up sometimes more than once a week. I've got a recent challenger who signed up, who sounded very passionate about signing up and getting into the group, but then she just hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
So I've been sending her text every couple of days, just trying to check in and see how she's doing and if she still wants to participate and that sort of thing. I just find people respond better to text, and I can do the voice thing on text as well. So
yeah, that's true.
I'm not great with my email, so that's why I tend to lean towards that avenue.
Yeah, and you definitely find what works for you. Absolutely. I like that I can send a bulk message. Like if I'm just doing my weekly message to those challengers, like I can send a bulk one. They don't know that it's a bulk message, honestly. And then when they respond, like when I set up the group, I can choose for them to respond to my by text or to my email. And so like I get a lot of text, so I just choose just to do email. But yeah, I think one-on-one, especially that voice message, is so important. Like I think that means a lot to people.
Well, I haven't had enough signups yet to do bulk messages.
You will. You will. And you'll have like carryover. You know, a lot of mine are carryovers, you know, like they just going through my challenge group. So yeah. But that's good. I like the text if that's what, because you text your challengers a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Becca, do you want to share what you do?
Sure. You mean with the engaging challengers?
Yeah, like your Yahtzee thing, and you play games with them and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I was inspired when we did the health bet last year in September to create a fun game. I love Yahtzee and I love to play, and so I decided to create a game to earn points, to keep people engaged, and to win a prize at the end of the month, and based it on Yahtzee. So with the health bet, it was I had like 5 or 6 different bets you could make: a 3 of a kind, a 4 of a kind, you know, a large straight, a small straight, and all of that is part of the game of Yahtzee. And so if you had a 3 of a kind, it was 3 pictures of any kind combo, basically. If you wanted to do your lunch, a snack, and, you know, a picture of your water bottle or something like that. But you also had to, you know, your selfie and your, a picture of your selfie was, I think, just a requirement. But anyhow, basically, you know, just earning points. And then if they got all 5s, you know, where in Yahtzee, if you get all straight of one number, you get a Yahtzee. So if they gave themselves all 5s, then I would give them 50 points for that. And then their Yahtzee bonus points was if they shared their meal plan, they'd get 100 points for sharing their meal plan. And so all of this would just add up to, you know, at the end of the month, if you were the biggest winner, then you got a gift. Now, I've kind of changed things up a little bit. We still do, you know, it's Yahtzee-like in that it's, if you get all 5s throughout the week, however many days you got all 5s, you get an extra entry for a prize. And so you earn a prize by having, you know, I took this, maybe, I can't remember if it was from Lindsay or somebody else, where you take a snapshot of your workouts and Shakeology for the week in the Challenge Tracker app. Maybe it was Timmy. And then you share how many days did you get straight 5s. Of course, everybody's on the honor system. And then if you shared your meal plan, then you get an extra entry. So that means you can have, you know, at least 3 entries if you've done all of those things. But if you get all 5s for all week long, then you've got 7 entries. So then I draw a name and you win a prize each week. So everybody gets an opportunity to win each week, because I've kind of thought, well, maybe it's just a little too much to ask people to do this for an entire month. I mean, to keep them engaged. So if they know that they have an opportunity to win next week, maybe they'll do better. So that's kind of how I do that. And yeah, I send an email out every week to each challenger and just check in and notice what they've been up to and what they're not doing, and asking them, how can I help you? What is it that you're struggling with? If anything, you know, please let me know, and I'm here for you. And some people respond to that and some people just don't, you know, but they'll start showing up more, I think, in the group once they've been checked in with. And of course, always comment and like, you know, what people are up to and what they're doing, and just trying to just be very positive with all of them. So those are some things that I think have been helpful.
Yeah. And in regards to that, I like your games. I think that's fun. Like, I'm not that creative. I I don't get that creative. But I think that challengers like that kind of stuff. It's because again, health and fitness can be hard. It can be serious. Losing weight can be a struggle. And so when you keep it light, when you keep it focused on just keeping morale up, like that's really important. Lauren, do you do anything differently in your groups?
Not really, but being one of Becca's challengers, the games are a lot of fun. So mine's more, there's just not a lot of people in my groups yet. So it's, I'll get there eventually, but right now it's just,
Yeah.
And I do a lot of I email, but I do a lot of Facebook Messenger, although I've got a couple challengers this month that don't use Facebook. So like my mom, but so I'm gonna have to rethink how to do that with them.
Yeah. And then another thing that in talking, converting challengers to coaches, do things in the group that, okay, so I've really started to try to change my kind of how I treat my challengers. My goal now is to really talk to them more like they are a coach already, honestly. I refer to us, refer to them as a team, and I even use team take heart, that wording and stuff in there. I actually ask them to team up now with another challenger and encourage them. I might do a highlight a coach of the day or something and ask them to come in and post or take a couple posts that week, or this weekend is a good opportunity for me to do this. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to be out of town with my family and I don't really want to be on my phone the whole time. So I'll either I did this with Lindsay, but she was already a coach though. Ask them to be the coach while I'm gone, to post something that they want to post, or, to definitely at least check in with the challengers, and, to comment on people's posts and encourage them. And that puts them in the role of a coach, because so many people think, I can't do this. I don't know how to do this. And I know for me personally, that was one of the biggest things. I was so afraid that I would not be able to really encourage and lead my challengers. And so I ask people to step in and be a coach, whether it's for a day or for the weekend or whatever it might be. And that gives them the opportunity to kind of fill that role and see what it would be like. Some other things that I do is definitely, I don't want everybody to be a discount coach, because volume-wise and commission-wise, when someone switches to a coach, you stop earning commission. Their volume still counts towards your bonuses, but if you want that commission, then you don't want to switch everybody to coaches unless you are just trying to hit diamond, unless you're trying to, definitely build a lot of volume. Once you get to diamond, then it matters. But I don't want if people don't give me a cost objection, or I don't see coach qualities in them or something, I'm not just going to push them to switch to discount coach. Okay. But I do encourage, because I planted that seed at the beginning with that welcome email, I do have a lot of people that come to me and want that discount. Now it's a little different with the all access pass, with the 10% discount that they get with that. Switching to a coach for a lot of people, the difference in savings is not that great unless they're ordering more than just Shakeology, or if they're ordering multiple bags of Shakeology. But for me, Matt and I both drink Shakeology. We drink the Recover, we drink the Energize. I love the Hydrate. So, that 25% savings is huge for us. That's a huge difference. And so that's a big thing. That's another thing that I do in my challenge groups is I show them the products that I'm using. If I use Energize, I'll talk about it once in a while. I don't talk about it every day. I don't push it down their throats. But, when they see me do it, then they decide they want to try it. Or another thing that I do, I forgot that I do this, and I need to do this for my new challengers, but I send a card and a little pack of Energize to new challengers. And it's just hey, thank you for allowing me to be your coach. I'm so excited about this challenge group that's starting. I just want to give you this as a thank you. It's my pre-workout drink. I mix it with some water 15 minutes before I work out. Just try it and let me know what you think. And so since I started doing that, I've had more people who start ordering Energize. Okay. And so that helps my commission, that helps my volume, and that makes a difference in my business. But it also helps them get results too, right? And so, like, if I use the digestive boost, I talk about it when I share my Shakeology check-in. I'll say, this is what I had. I added the digestive boost today because my stomach's a little off, or, you know, something like that. So they see me using these other products, which in turn makes them interested in doing it too. And so that's a big thing that I do in my challenge groups too. Becca, you convert people to coaches and they stay active. Like, what are you doing there? I ask you this all the time.
I really think it's about having a relationship with my customers that are my repeat challengers. Christy is phenomenal. I mean, she's super consistent. She's amazing. And I just pump her full of goodies because she shows up all the time too. So it's like, the more she shows up and the more I give back to her, the more she, you know, is loyal. And I think too, it's, you know, I mean, they love their Shakeology. And I think too, like, part of what I do in the group is I share a weekly recipe about Shakeology. I try every week to say something about Shakeology, and I'm always like commenting on, you know, oh, that looks so good, or what recipe are you using? And I think I just try to engage around Shakeology so that people feel excited about it and want to try different fun recipes and treats. And so in that sense, maybe they're getting it more in their mind that, yeah, you know, this really is great stuff and I want to keep on it. And then just really making sure that I have a good relationship with them. And, you know, once they love it and they want to stay on it, it's just a matter of, hey, I want to make sure that you're a happy challenger. And I mean, I love these women anyways. It's not just about that, but certainly want to invest in them. I think it's just about that relationship connection, honestly. I mean, one of my challengers, she hasn't been in a challenge group for months, and she's still on her Shakeology. I had one that just told me that she wants to get back into the challenge group, but she's been on her Shakeology. I kind of think it's a relationship thing, really, because I'm a minister. At least one of those is a minister. Another is my friend from seminary that, you know, we have a bond and connection. So I think that's a part of it. I can't totally put my finger on it, but I do think it has to do with relationships.
Yeah, you're obviously good at relationships. You got that. Like, I love talking to you personally. You know, like, I'm not trying to do anything. But I think that is a good point. And, you know, too, like, if you can keep people in a challenge group and keep them engaged and keep them, if you're posting your Shakeology, if they see other people doing it, you know, I think that people are going to see the value in Shakeology and, you know, just stick with it longer. They say that, like, the average time that people stay on Shakeology is 4 to 6 months. But, you know, like, I mean, I know Becca has people that have done it this whole time she's been a coach. And then I know I've had people that have been on Shakeology for a year, 2 years, you know. And so, like, I think that if we're investing, if we're educating, if we're posting, if we're staying checked in with them, then people are going to stick with it. But of course, you do have those people that quit, that cancel their account, that cancel their coach account, or, you know, all that stuff. That's just the name of the game. And that's why we're constantly recruiting, we're constantly teaching, we're constantly posting. And so that these things are small, but they make a big difference. And two, like, I know that time is an issue with so many of us. Like, you don't have to do these things every day. Like, I actually have a reminder on my calendar to tell me to check in with my challengers once a week. All right. So it's not something that I'm doing every day. I pick a day of the week. I pick a time that I think will work best for me. And I have this reminder and it goes off and I go in, I send them a message, or I'll check in with a couple of people that day, send them a private voicemail or something. And so, like, this doesn't have to be time consuming, but I think that it has to be done if we're going to be consistent and be successful.
Can I ask a quick question?
Uh-huh.
It's just like kind of a technical question. I was talking to somebody about signing up and I was telling them about the discount that you get as a coach. And their question back to me was, they never tried Shakeology, but I did mention the discount, so they were interested in that. But then, so their question to me was, well, if I don't like the Shakeology, I decide to send it back, but I want to keep on doing the workouts. Do I still pay that $15 monthly coach fee?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a good question. I couldn't find a straight answer when I looked.
Yeah, they pay that fee unless they cancel their coach account, no matter what.
Do they have to cancel their BOD, their all access?
Mm-mm. No, they can keep all that. They would just be a customer with, the all access. No, they would keep that. They would just cancel the coach account, which means that, they don't pay that monthly fee anymore, and they no longer get the 25%. So that's all it would mean. They're still a customer. They still have that membership if they paid for it.
Okay, I didn't know that was an option. They could go in and just cancel their coach account.
Yeah,
okay.
But once they cancel, they can't sign up as a coach for 6 months.
Okay.
Well, no, that's not true. No, I'm sorry. Hold on. They can re-sign up as a coach under you, but like they can't. Like some people, Beachbody has it set up so that we can't poach other people's coaches. So that like if somebody cancels, they can't sign up under someone else for 6 months. That's what it is. They can sign back up under you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good question. And too, there's that military discount. Like if you know people who are in the military, like reach out to them for sure. I need to get my nephew set up on Shakeology. That's what I should do. He's in the military.
I still haven't even done my husband's yet.
Sorry.
I know.
But anyways, that's an awesome discount. And especially like those people that like they're drinking it and they want their spouse to start drinking it, like kind of, Lindsay, you signed your husband up as a coach because you're working the business, but like I have a lot of people that are like, this is awesome. My husband loves it. Like, do I need to sign him up as a coach too? And I'm like, unless they want to build the business, I just say, no, you just have one coach account and you order 2 bags of Shakeology a month. And so that's a big savings. Yeah. All right. What else? Do you guys have any questions about it? It doesn't have to be related to this, but do you guys have any questions about this or anything else? I like our little thread y'all have going, our live conversation. Keep that going. Like seriously, like throw me things that you hear from people who give you objections and stuff, and I'll show you how I handle it. Okay.
Lindsay just like threw in the whole like everything possible.
The tooth thing, I was like, dang, did somebody say that to her? I'm sure they did.
Yes,
yeah.
They did. I just got that from somebody like a week ago, I think. And so I was like, dang.
That was good. That was good. Becca, you responded to that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to be too confusing, but like I'll go back and I'll respond to some too. But if you have questions, you're like, what are you talking about, Rachel? Just let me know. But like I think that's good to see how we all respond to it, because obviously like I get people who are like, they just had to buy new tires. They had, their kids started a new private school. I mean, like there's all kinds of things. But like if I can teach people and show them that, first of all, it's food. Like you're literally buying food, I know maybe a little bit more expensive than a bowl of Cheerios, but it's food, right? And that if you cut all this other stuff out, then you're like really, not spending more money than you would have if you go to the vending machine every day, right? And so like those are kind of things that I talk about to people. So we'll do that. I like that. Right.
I had somebody the other day tell me they were doing Financial Peace University, and so they couldn't do it because it wasn't part of the budget. And then literally I messaged her like a couple of days later to ask her if she'd join my free group, the sweet challenge I'm doing. And she was like, oh, I just started the Advocare cleanse. I was like, seriously?
Like $200 something.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, you didn't have any money budgeted for.
You didn't have money for food. They don't budget for food.
I mean, and I even told her, I said, can't you just put it in your grocery budget, And she's like, no, I can't do that yet. Maybe next month. She said, yeah, you can contact me next month and I'll try to budget it in for next month. And I was like, okay.
Well, I definitely would. I would follow up with her. Ask her, say, how's that Advocare going?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am doing I don't know if you guys saw, I just created an event for a 3-day refresh group. So like, please feel free to invite your current challengers and coaches, especially. Like I'm doing that that will most likely be for people who are already challengers. I mean, those are kind of the people that will be intrigued or want to do it because they already see the value in challenge groups and Shakeology. But I might get some new people too. But it's a Memorial Day group, and like I said, I don't care for us to run it together or for you to invite people to it. But it's a Memorial Day group. I will share a 5-day meal plan. I will share tips on kind of like surviving the weekend, and then we're going to do a 3-day refresh after Memorial Day. I actually have a group of girls who are starting the 3-day refresh next Monday. They must be going on a beach trip for Memorial Day or something. I'm like, why don't you just wait until after Memorial Day to do the 3-day refresh? But they want to do it before. And so like, it'll just be a group where we're doing the 3-day refresh together and, you know, kind of like surviving the holiday kind of thing. So that, my goal in doing that is to help people either who have disengaged from challenge groups, or to keep people, you know, like if they do get off track, to help them maintain their results, and to it builds volume and income for me, honestly, when people do the 3-day refresh. So I'm going to do it with them. So feel free to invite to that. It'll kind of really start like next Monday, kind of with prep and the meal plan and stuff. Okay. And if you have people, like if you're signing challengers up and they want to do that too, they can do the Kickstart Challenge Pack and get the 3-day refresh in there as well. So that's something that you could think about too. All right. So if you're not currently inviting anyone to anything, like you could do that. Right? Good. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Does anybody have anything else? Good stuff. Thanks for showing up. Thank you, Becca, for sharing that too. All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.